Hello everyone. Welcome back to St. George's Chapel here in the countryside of Harbeson, Delaware. It's my pleasure to welcome you back this week for our stay-at-home recital. We begin with the music of Thomas Arne, a British composer whose life and career spanned not only the Baroque era, but also the Rococo era, sandwiched between the Baroque era and classical era. He wrote a number of pieces of music, but he is probably most famous for his British nationalistic song entitled Rule Britannia. But as a composer, he also wrote 6 keyboard concerti, which very closely resemble those written by George Frederick Handel, who was living in England at the time. This is from his Concerto Number 3 in A major, and it is the Con Spirito movement, or with spirit. From the music of Thomas Arne, we stay in Great Britain, but move a little farther forward in the future with the music of Alan Gray. Alan Gray was born in 1855 and died in 1935, which meant that his life and career were contemporaneous with not only 3 monarchs in Great Britain, but also with the great British composer Sir Edward Elgar. This piece, and a number of other pieces in the collection from whence it comes, was written in memory of another British composer, Sir Charles Hubert Hastings Parry, whose music has been solidified in our minds by any number of very high festivals, services, and concerts that feature the royal family of Great Britain. For instance, his coronation anthem, I Was Glad, was sung at Queen Elizabeth II's coronation, and his massive choral masterpiece entitled Blessed Pair of Sirens was featured at the wedding of Kate Middleton to Prince William. In fact, in this little piece, which has no title but is simply marked slow, Mr. Gray quotes Perry's piece, Blessed Pair of Sirens. At one point in the pedal line, he quotes the line with the text, "And keep in tune with heaven," which might be a little difficult to hear in the pedal when it happens, but there it is. As well, at the very end of the piece, Alan Gray quotes the end of Perry's Blessed Pair of Sirens, the line which states, "Oh, may we soon again renew that song." So that comes at the end. That's something to listen to. So enjoy this beautiful little piece without a title, simply marked slow, by Alan Gray in memory of Sir Charles Hubert Hastings Perry. From the music of Great Britain, we move over to Paris, France, which seems to be a favorite thing for us to do on these recitals, and we move to the music of Théodore Dubois. Dubois' music holds something of maybe a second or third tier place among the music of his great contemporaries, among whom were Charles-Marie Widor, Camille Saint-Saëns, Eugène Gigoux, Alexandre Guillemot, and many, many other students who would rise to fame too. He held the director's position of the Paris Conservatory for a time, but now, in place of his desire to be an opera composer, he has become famous because of a couple of singular works, one of which is a large-scale toccata in G major for solo organ, as well as his cantata, The Seven Last Words of Christ, which we were honored to prepare and sing here at All Saints in St. George's Parish. We turn, though, to one of his lesser-known pieces from his collection of 12 new pieces, and this is his prelude and fugue in D minor. The prelude is rather lyrical, and the fugue does show a mastery of counterpoint, which we had said a fugue, being a discussion between voices, starts with this theme. Excuse me, that's not the theme, but this is. And Dubois builds a very lovely fugue on that subject. So we start with his lyrical prelude, and then we go right into the fugue. time for everybody's favorite point of the recital. No, not the end, but hymn time. So for your hymns this week, you're going to need to have a United Methodist hymnal, as we are dipping into the collection of our Methodist brothers and sisters. We begin with a beautiful lyrical hymn entitled, "Open My Eyes That I May See Glimpses of Truth Thou Hast for Me." From there we move into a beautiful hymn of comfort and faith entitled, "Beneath the Cross of Jesus, I fain would take my stand, the shadow of a mighty rock within a weary land, a home within the wilderness, a rest upon the way, from the burning of the noontide heat and the burden of the day." From there we move to a Scottish tune, the words to which are, "Come, O thou traveler unknown, whom still I hold but cannot see. My company before is gone, and I am left alone with thee. With thee all night I mean to stay and wrestle till the break of day. With thee all night I mean to stay and wrestle till the break of day." Enjoy these three beautiful hymns of faith. faith. It's back to France now for a piece by the famed blind organist of Notre Dame Cathedral, Louis Vierne. Vierne wrote quite an output of music, and one of his more famous collections is a body of work entitled The 24 Pieces in a Free Style, from which this piece comes. And those pieces some have rather generic names like prelude or postlude or scherzo, like this piece, which is entitled simply Reverie. It shows Vierne's, some of his impressionistic sides, which his life and career spanned the Impressionistic era, and he counted among his admirers no less a composer than the great Claude Debussy. So enjoy this beautiful, beautiful, lush piece entitled Reverie by Louis Vierne. And now we come to the end of this week's recital. I want to thank you for joining us this week. Next week we'll be back at All Saints with another recital made up of your requests. If you have sent in requests, or even if you haven't, feel free to keep sending them in. It does help a lot when we're putting together a weekly organ recital. We also invite you to check out our website, allsaintsandstgeorges.org. Take a look around and you'll find a donate button. If you are able to help out, we invite you to give generously. If not, enjoy looking around the website. We do have a Facebook page as well as a YouTube channel. So we end with another British composer by the name of Thomas Roseingrave. And Roseingrave was a British-born Irish composer who wrote a variety of pieces of music. He did get accepted to Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland, but did not take a degree. Instead, he was sent to Italy to study with the virtuoso keyboardist Domenico Scarlatti. He enjoyed a rather productive career, a rather successful life, up until the point he desired to marry a young lady. Unfortunately, her father did not approve of the marriage and prevented it from happening, sending Mr. Roseingrave into a bit of a tailspin. Well, he eventually retired to Dublin, where he and his family are buried in the churchyard surrounding St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin. But he did leave us this fun little allegro romp in D major, with which I again say thank you for joining us, and we do look forward to seeing you next week when we are back at All Saints Church. Stay well and stay healthy.